Welcome to Tub Thumpers. The finale show, the finale of season 2 of Tub Thumpers.
Yeah, I wonder what we'll do for season 3.
Season 3, but well, me and Si, what we thought, me and Si thought we'd end season 2 in style. So look who we've got on. Here she is, the lovely Mrs. Knight. Hello, Kat.
Hello.
How are you, pal?
I'm good. How's you?
I'm awesome. This is great. We've had loads of couples on now. Scuba and Leslie have done it. Stu and Georgie. Adam Berry and Si. Cat. Really brilliant. DTM and the lovely Helen. Look at this. It's like a Mr. and Mrs. couple. It's side Tub Thumpers, isn't it? Hey?
That's what you should do now. Instead of question of the week, you should start playing Mr. and Mrs. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Question of the week. Oh, don't worry. Have you got your headache tablets ready for your question? Question of the week. Well, anyway, let's have a look at this. Oh, first person who we all know him.
Hey!
Sharkhead himself.
He's right here. Force is here.
G-Force.
Sags. I'm liking the S. What's that? Hey, Sags. I'm liking the Safs. What's that? Safs. What's that say?
I have no idea. Oh, Safs. Just let me tell you. No idea.
Hey, Kat, do you like Star Wars?
I think for a question like that, you have to say yes, don't you? Otherwise, I'd be like booed out of here.
I know a man who does. Evening all, I'm keeping one eye on the football and the other on the Tub Thumpers. Who's playing? Oh, it's Liverpool, isn't it? Liverpool-Tottenham.
Yeah, it went a bit over because there was a nasty incident at the start. So
in our group that something's happened. I'll have a look at that later on. But anyway, our Des is here. Mr. Redmond is here. Good evening, Mr. Redmond. Good evening, Shabby, Si, Cat, and Chat. Are you looking forward to this, Cat?
I am, yeah, I am. I've managed to even get Keith to stay downstairs, so you've just got me. Great.
Can I ask you a question? What is it like married to him? What is it like?
Can I pass that one? To be fair, I'm really lucky because Keith is my best friend.
He's awesome.
And how he comes across on live streams.
Yeah. That's it.
There's no airs and graces. You can't polish a turd. That's Keith. You know, I think I'm really lucky because, like I say, he does support me. He's pretty much what you see.
But it says on the tin, isn't it, Cat? Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Cat, these two knuckleheads give you any trouble, don't hesitate to put them in their places. Haha, look at G-Force. Look at that. Charming, eh? It's like Kieran Ball's here. Hi, Kieran. Ricardo. Would this work, Cat? So if you were at a bar, right, and this really guy came in and whatever, and you went, hello, I'm Cat, and he went, hello, I'm Ricardo. Would it work?
No, we've actually got a cat called Richie, and we call him Ricardo Shilly Shally after one of the characters on The Big Bang Theory. So I think it would just make me laugh if he actually said that. Unfortunately,
everyone we've had on Tub Thumpers, I've always asked the same question: would it work? And they've all gone, no, not really. Oh, brilliant! Keith Knight is here. Hello, Keith. All right, Keith. Ricardo, let's have that. Is that very creepy looking thing going to be in the room with you, Cat? Yeah, there it is. So if I make Cat bigger sec.
He's not creepy. He's gorgeous. He's lovely. He's Pennywise.
Look at that. I mean Pennywise, not Keith, by the way. Someone you know, Cat, right there?
Oh, no, not that git. Get him out of here.
He's hiding behind this over. Had my first back to normal crazy commute today, says G-Force. It's been 2 months of escape from New York on the highways. Hi, Christian. Nice to see you. Amazing stream. Cheers, pal. That's nice of you. Keep up with the fantastic work. You absolute belter. Thanks, pal. That's a really nice thing to say. Hi, Miriam. Nice to see Miriam's here.
Miriam.
Gerard's here. Good old Gerard. Did anybody see, Christian asks, the movie Wicked? No, but I fancy it. But it's one of those movies I'm not going to... Did you see it, Kat?
Yeah, me and my daughter took Monica's granddaughter to the cinema to see it because she's sort of at that age where she really wanted to see it, and it's brilliant. It is really good.
I fancy it, but I'll wait till it comes. I know my kids.
It's on Sky Story. I might order it on Sky Store this weekend.
Do you fancy watching it? I fancy it. I don't see why not. I don't mind a musical now and then. The way we were brought up. Did you like musicals growing up, Kaz? You know, because my mum used to always show Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah. That's actually that and Doris Day. Sort of bit of a Calamity Jane, My Fair Lady. My mum was very similar. The Les Mis, she would watch all the musicals. They used to be on a lot Sunday afternoon, didn't they? So you'd have your Sunday dinner. They'd put it on the telly. Then they'd fall asleep. You didn't dare turn the telly over, so you were stuck watching it whether you wanted to or not.
You're exactly right. Unthinkable Molly Brown. We grew up with all of them, didn't we, Simon? You know. It's like when Stu did his movie quiz saying, I was like, musicals. Do you know what I mean? Because it's something you don't really talk about, but you're like, I know loads about him. So let's have a look. Decent. Morning. Let's say morning all. I mean, evening all. Well, you could say afternoon as well.
Evening all.
That's it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Wow, Kat, what a turnout already. I can't believe we're up to 40 people already here. So I appreciate that a lot. Let's have a look. Well, I got to get up early in the morning, so I'll be here till 10 o'clock, and then I've got to go to bed. Well,
thanks, Jason. Set your alarm clock. Take yourself in.
Kat, in 20 minutes, just make sure he's in bed. All right, just make sure he's...
Make sure we show him lots of horrible things then before he goes to bed.
DTMZ, hi DTM, hi to everyone in the chat, hi to Sai, Shabby and Kat. I'm looking forward to this because we all know who you are, Kat, but you're relatively new to coming on screen and so you're a collector, Kat. Have you been collecting a long time, or do you just pick up things here and there? Or
it's funny, me and Keith were actually having this conversation earlier because up until we moved here in 2015, my life had been quite transient. I was a pub manager for 20 odd years, and we didn't stay in places very long because we were troubleshooters. So we'd go into a place, sort it all out, get it back up to where it should be, and then move on to the next place. So you just didn't accumulate a lot of stuff because you were forever packing it. I remember moving into a pub on Christmas Eve, and we literally just unplugged the Christmas tree from one place, shoved it in the van, got out the other end and plugged it in, and away you go. I was trying to find the kids Christmas presents, no, I was never really a collector until me and Keith sort of got settled, and then there were bits that I always had. I've always had books. Both of us are really, really into books. We've got thousands of books. So books was always something that I had. But other than that, no, I wouldn't say that necessarily I was.
See, I'm a big book guy. There's not many of us around with the book readers anymore. Do you know, I've always been I've got a big library of books, and I've always liked reading and so forth. Kieran says you should know by now that beautiful ladies always join the crowd for Tub Thumpers. Well, thanks. That's why, I appreciate you saying about me, but sign Cat here as well.
I was going to say that's why we've got Pennywise,
Let's have a look. Rolando. Oh, gotta play this because not only is Rolando here, it's a new upgraded 2025 version.
There was something in the air that night. The stars were bright.
Rolando.
Brilliant. Well, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Rolando. Oh, absolutely. Hello, Rolando. Nice to see you. Hello, George. Good old George Aikens coming and seeing us. Wow, man, everybody's here. Lady Steph, all right, Steph. Lady Steph is here. Good to see you. Let me just get down before we get on to good old Mr. B. Hiya, pal. Mr. B's here. Everybody's coming to see you, Kat. Everybody's here. TJC's here. Would you ride on one of TJC's buses, Cyan Cat?
No.
I've got no problem with buses, actually. I quite like buses, but
I have no problem with buses. I do have a problem with TJC driving one.
All right, okay.
He's only new. He's brand new. I don't want to put him off.
Yeah.
So
But how
now
many
and then-
times? Yeah, but how many times have you gone up to a bus rider and gone? I mean, bus driver and gone. How long you been doing it for? You haven't, have you?
No, but no, Keith.
So how would you know?
I mean, TJC. I know Terry. So
Oh,
I don't want to put him off while he's teething in the job.
so you know his name. That's why he won't get on his bus. I'll wait for the next one. Thanks. Hi, pals. Good to see you, buddy. Cox is here. Look at this. Everybody's here. Awesome. And I do apologise that we're half an hour late tonight. I had a prior engagement, but we'll be back to normal soon. Fullers is here. Hi, Connor. Wow, man. Season 3 will contain nudity, human sacrifice, and a cute cat called Tigger. Who told him? Did you tell him?
Like it.
Hello, Claire. Hello, Claire.
Claire.
Hey, Size, it's still snowing where you are.
No, it's all gone. It never lasts here in Blackpool because we always have like sand air. It's like Tatooine here. So we get snow, but it's never really nice snow, and it lasts a night, if anything. You know what I mean? It'll be gone by the next morning. Too much salt in the air.
Yeah.
Did it snow where you are, Kat?
It did, but it didn't sort of stick. It was sort of, crappy snow. Wasn't even nice to look out the window at.
He says, if that clown moves, I'm off. Well, he's bound to move, isn't he? He's going to move around. You meant.
I'll sit there.
One eye on this and one eye on the telly for the match. It's only the first leg, though. What are you so bothered for? It's only the first leg. What's the score, by the way? What is it? Liverpool. Are you West Ham, like your Keith Cat?
Unfortunately, I am the other claret and blue. To be honest, I don't really follow football, but I always say that just to wind him up a bit because my dad was born in Aston. So right. He's a proper old brummie, my dad was. And he was literally born. You could see the Villa grounds, and he grew up as a huge Aston Villa fan. So it was sort of like us kids had to be whether we wanted to or not. So
Aston Villa,
and it annoys Keith, doesn't it? So it's
that was a nasty axe. Yeah, Simon was just saying about that. It sounds a bit dodgy. Who else is here? Who else can I think of? Let's see. Oh, this person.
I am the last of the famous international playboy.
Hey all, Adam asked a question for you, Kat. Can I ask, what is it like being married to Craig David?
Brilliant.
I'm going to say nothing because when this finishes, I have to still live with him.
What's it be like married to Craig? I'd say, how did this Craig David thing come by? How did it?
It was Adam Berry. He's one night when Keith had his headphones on at night.
Right.
And Adam Berry said, you look like with them headphones on, and that was it. It just stuck. So you can blame Adam.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, what's it be like married to Craig? Did I just get compared to a third who I've been promoted?
To be fair, yeah, you are.
Oh, but she did mean in the nicest possible way, Keith, in the nicest possible way.
In the nicest way, yeah, exactly. Let me just get to some more names. Good old James is here. Hello, James. Good old Jimmy's here. Look at this. Can't believe how many people are here. Wow. Pod Racing Palpatine. I saw Nosferatu. Not bad considering I hadn't seen Nosferatu once. An old movie. I'd like to see it. Although, Kat, you're going to think I'm known in the community for being a proper soft when it comes to horrors, man. I'm not. I'll give you an example. Last year was the first year I saw The Thing because I always thought it was frightening when I was a kid, so I didn't see.
You've known Keith longer than that, ain't you?
And I just like to say, well, to Pod Racing Palpatine, I got that joke. I know it goes over Shabby's head because he hasn't got his glasses on and he can never read anything properly. But I actually got the joke. Yeah.
Nosferatu. Not consider I've not seen Nosferatu. One. You're a big horror fan, though, aren't you, Kat? You like your horrors.
I'm a big horror fiend.
Where did that come from? Because when I was a kid, Si's always liked them, but to me, I was like, not a chance. I'm not going anywhere near these.
I don't know, but it's always been, again, sort of going back to when we were kids. We grew up and we were dirt poor growing up, but the library was free. So you could go into the library and you could get your books and whatever. And that's how I first discovered Stephen King was in the library. My mum was like, "Oh, it'll give you nightmares." And that just made me more determined to read as many of them as I could.
Yeah.
I was an obstinate little sod. And it's just a genre that's stuck. And I think I don't like the gory horrors, like where people are being chopped into bits.
No.
And gratuitous violence for the sake of it. I'm more like your psychological and things that with a little bit of could happen, like
I don't see. That's what I don't like. I've had this conversation with the CSR lads for years. It's the anticipation. I can't stand it. When it builds up, builds up, and the worst for me is when nothing happens. Oh man, I hate that.
Blair Witch is that one. Yeah, that's just as it gets going, the bloody thing finishes, and you want to go home and kick everybody. That
did get me. That Blair Witch. George Aiken says. We've got a hot take here, Simon. A hot take. Tell the truth.
I don't know where it comes from. Why Keith really does have a bad thing about Cliff Richard, doesn't he? I dare tell him my mum's a massive fan. Anne-Marie loves Cliff Richard. Keith's like, he hates
Keith everybody. Keith does not. There are very few people. As a joke once, I said to him, I'm going to write a list of everybody you don't like. Yeah. So we got this A4 pad of paper, and I kid you not, my wrist was aching in the end. I said, should we just write a list of people you do like? Because I think it's going to be shorter. But he's really musical, and he'll get tunes in his head, but he'll only ever remember one, maybe two lines, and he'll sing it over and over and over and over again. And he went through this stage where he just got Cliff Richard songs, Devil Woman, stuck in his head. And it annoyed him to the point that he was like, Cliff Richard, if I ever get my hands on him, I'll strangle him. And of course, when he goes off on one of his rants, it's just they're gold, aren't they? Keith's rants.
Yeah. I read him on Facebook.
I fear for Cliff Richard if Keith comes into him. I fear for the man.
Hello, Amy. Nice to see you, Amy.
Bless her.
So good old Amy's here.
That's my oldest daughter. Yeah, that's
your oldest cat.
Yeah.
Talking about the book, Sar Smithlow said the irony being Keith can't read.
He can. He doesn't pay any attention to what he reads, but he can.
Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I am unable to sing Fernando anymore. It's always Ronaldo. Well, yeah, of course. It's a staple that in our community, G-Force Orlando. Coxie says, I loved a free ride around Norwich on the top deck, admiring all the cathedrals.
I mean, that's something Terry should set up. He should set up a nice free tour in Norwich. When he gets hold of an open top bus, and we should all go, and he can take us round, can't he?
Then we could be live from Norwich.
Exactly.
Live from Norwich on top of the bus.
Yeah.
He's officially heard, Si. You've heard.
I was thinking of you, Terry. I'm not putting you off in your first month of driving. I'm not doing it.
See, I differ from you, Si, you see. I reckon because he's such an awesome dad, he'll be an awesome driver because he'll be like, I've got to look after everybody. Do you know what I mean?
But he's had to be in this weather lately. My God, driving a big bus, isn't it?
1-0 to Spurs. There you go. That's all right. You can trust Tree JC. It's the bus service you can't trust. Look at it that way, Si. Look at it that way.
That's true because buses never turn up anyway. So
you wait for one, three come along.
Hi, Mark. Good old Donut Donors here. Good to see you. Everyone's turned. I know I've said it a few times, but I'm baffled by this. It's brilliant. Offside and new rule ref announced to the stadium. So there you are.
There you go.
Hi, Martin. Good old Martin's here. Ricardo. Oh, our Phil. Hiya, treasures for Trigger. Good old Phil's here. What time is it in Japan now? That's where Phil is, cat in Japan. I wonder what time it is. Got to be early in the morning, hasn't it, Si? I wonder if it's Thursday morning.
There must be 4 hours. I reckon it's around 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning you're going for? Right. Good old Jumpy's here. Hiya, Jumpy. This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love doing this. Let's have a look who else is here. John McGuire. Good old Johnny Boy's here. Look at this. Keith only tolerates me because we're from similar parts of the world. Yeah.
Keith doesn't tolerate anybody regardless of where they're from.
Keith only tolerates you until he meets you, then you get the crack.
Jonathan Redmond says Hammer House of Horror was. I never saw any of them. So when you lot talked about your Vincent
I loved
Prices
all
and
that
your honestly, Si, I'm just
Well,
it's
normally
like,
I buy the Universal Monsters, the NECA ones, because I absolutely love them. And when I buy them in black and white because I think these films were in black and white. So what's the point of buying the colour ones until I saw that new Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee that's coming out? I'm going to buy them in the black and white and the colour because I saw both in a lot of colour at my house. So they're the two I'll be buying both versions of.
yeah, I can't think of one Hammer. I only saw Young Frankenstein recently. John Baldry sent me the DVD a couple of years back because I thought that was a horror.
No, it's one of the funniest films ever made. Though.
Really funny, yeah.
Did you never watch like the Tales of the Unexpected that used to be on the Friday
I
nights?
still love them. And you know what surprised me, Kat? As I got older, I realised that it was Roald Dahl that wrote all them.
Yeah, he did.
And I had no idea as a kid, and I used to love Tales of the Unexpected.
Roald Dahl wrote Tales of the
Really good.
Unexpected.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He used to come on in his chair as well, didn't he?
Yeah, all them little short stories are amazing, aren't they?
That was Roald Dahl in the chair.
Yeah.
See,
You don't think as a kid, do you?
every day. Every day's a school day.
Not only is she pretty size, she knows what she's talking about. I tell you what. Told you we ended in style, ended the night with style. Let's have a look. Devil Woman. I wonder why Keith was obsessed with her.
He likes his Devil Women. The women's a horror.
He doesn't bless him. A Devil Woman showed up, he'd be off up the road as quick as a shot. The first you ever saw him move.
APD says the way to guarantee a bus showing up is to light a cigarette.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I remember that.
Hiya, Luke. Good old Luke's here. Still 1-0 to Spurs side, just thought I'd tell you. I can tolerate anyone except G-Force. Oh. Wow.
I thought you might have had to change your heart going into 2025. But obviously not.
Obviously not. Let's have a look. Jonathan says, Tales of the Unexpected was awesome. Very Twilight Zone like. I watched it every... I do remember one episode of that where I think it was him from Denham Elliott's side. Do you remember Denham Elliott? He was in the Indiana Jones movies and so forth, Cat. And he played this guy and he was at work with his wife was always overpowering and bullying and so forth. And his boss was the same way. And he thought his boss was sleeping with his wife, so he killed his boss. Do you remember that one? It was really interesting.
Was that not the Twilight Zone?
No, that was Tales of the Unexpected. It was a British show, or was it Twilight Zone?
Because I remember that Tales of the Unexpected. What I always remember is that guy who had that really posh car and stuff, and he picks up that Irish guy, and the Irish guy's like a leprechaun, and in the end, he takes everything off him, even his car. That was a really good one.
Yeah, there was the one where the wife was cooking the leg of lamb as well, and her husband had been murdered, and it turned out that she'd done it with this frozen leg of lamb and then cooked it because it was the evidence. And I think Keith shit himself every time I cook lamb ever since.
Kieran says, I can understand Shabby's confusion. It was only called Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. Roald Dahl was the only start of every episode with his name. Well, I can't remember. Sometimes your lot, I mean, I don't know about you, Kat, but my honestly, this lot will say something or bring something up that I've completely forgotten about as a kid. Sometimes I think, wow.
Especially if it's not your bag as well. If it's not something that you're into, then you're not going to pay as much attention as the rest of us weird folk.
Exactly. That's the way I should
look
look
at
at
it.
it.
That is one thing, though, I do love about this community. That no matter what you can remember, especially from my years of like 75 to 85, no matter what you can remember, there's always somebody that reminds you of something else that you've just totally forgotten about.
Absolutely.
And I love it for that.
This show's one of the best for that as well, because the amount of stuff that we've seen, Kat, and the amount of stuff that you've gone out of your head and you've seen something, everything from a pamphlet to a pencil case and its sign, we've been like, no way.
Yeah.
TJC, was there any comeback from the old woman you threw off a bus? You threw a bus off her? What? Was that like James McQuirk in Islandside? Was it like
No,
James?
this was even worse. This was when it was cold, it was winter. She had no bus fare, so we threw her off the bus.
What's that, leprechaun or a gyro? The same thing tends to happen to both. Brilliant. It's 7 a.m, Simon. It's 7 a.m.
7 a.m. They are.
Cheers, Phil. Let's have a look. Good evening. Do it, Kat. I'll say you were with me. Hiya, Sandra.
Another one of the old cat.
That's Keith's sister, and I think she's on about the leg of lamb.
I love the way she writes. I'll say you were with me.
That's murder, is it, Cats?
Bless.
So when it happens, everyone in the chat, we all know.
The cat was
We're
involved.
all in this room. It's fine.
She read too many Stephen King books. She knew how to get away with it entirely.
Oh,
Keith is convinced that's the only reason I'm becoming a nurse is to make me a more efficient killer.
oh.
Yeah.
You see, I wince at everything. And like, I don't know how you nurses deserve medals, man, because broken bones and stuff like I honestly, can you imagine
You get a
me
nice
trying to-
gangrenous wound. It's brilliant, and you know,
Oh,
people
I don't know how to do it.
fall off. It's brilliant.
My
It's fine.
girlfriend was a nurse, and I tell you, she could work some hours. God,
She was,
sometimes
you're
she could
right.
do like 80 hours a week, and God, you come home like a zombie. And every credit to
Yeah.
nurses, I tell you, I don't know how they do it.
No, it's
Yeah,
Where
I
would
think
we
you
be
deserve a
next?
medal, Cat, for what you do. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The Queen Bee Honey episode is the most infamous Tales of the. Do you mean Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected? Get it right, Kieran. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember that episode?
now, aren't we?
No, again, you remember when they're on, don't you? But you don't remember them by,
There
you know,
go.
you,
This
how
cat
you
is
that
smart.
sentence.
I can see why Keith keeps her close. Well, there you go. You see, we're finding loads of stuff out tonight. Sandra, did someone say, oh, different Sandra? Hello, Sandra.
Yeah, not Steve's mum, Sandra. A different one.
Oh, look at that defo. Oh, brilliant, Sandra. Welcome, Sandra. Nice to see you. Did you see Pennywise just move?
There's probably a cat behind it if it did.
If it did, the last time you see me online, let alone. You'll be saying hello to Sandra. Look at Sandra getting all the love. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra, love. I love it. I love it. Let's have a look. What does it say? Shabby faints when he's feeling. I won't go that far. Oh, brilliant. I did warn you, Cat, says Sandra. I did warn you. But anyway, it's lovely to have a cat here. But another thing that we do every week, Cat, is this. So sit back, get your aspirin, because it's ready for size question of the week. So this is a part of the show where Si entices us and makes us all think. So off you go, Si.
This question of the week this week has made me really think, but it's not from me. This is from one of Connor Fuller's daughters, Casey. She said
Right.
something. Connor's told me what it was, and it's really thrown me. So Casey says, how come you get on a plane and you get on a train and you get on a bus, but you get into a car, into a taxi, and into a cab?
Oh, now that's a good question. You can tell it's not one of yours.
Why do you get onto some things for
Right.
travel, but get
Yeah.
into some things for travel?
Never thought. What a great question of the week. Baffling, I tell you what. That's a good question. You get on a train. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You get on a plane, right? You get on a boat.
But you get in a taxi. I don't
You
say
get in
to
a
Connor when we're at Echo, should we get on this taxi? I say, should we get in the taxi? No, this is all Casey's, this, not mine.
What do you think, Kat?
I think that's just another wondrous foible of the English language. And that's my standard answer.
I think that's what it must be. There must be a plural way of the talk of it, like on and in of what it is. But it's like you get on a plane, but you don't get like on a car. But you both get in and both anyway.
Mm.
And who came up with this? Connor's daughter came up with this.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That is interesting. Let's see if any of the chat know. First of all, APD says, do you remember the episode of Tales of the Unexpected with Miriam Margoyle with the cheating husband and the poisoned chocolates? Great story.
It's rung a bell. That's just rung a bell.
No, but it's given me a good idea.
Hey, Zoe, just in time. Yeah, it's a good question as well, so wasn't it? Oh, glad I didn't miss this part. There they are. Let's see what people are saying then, Si. Well, that's the end of the Happy New Year. So, the Irish. Because you can walk on, but you have to get in a car. Oh, that's a good point. Because you walk on these things, you don't have to get in it, do you? Well, you walk on a plane, you walk on a train. You don't have to sit down, move your legs, and all that. Well, you do have to sit down on a plane and a train, I suppose.
But you have to walk to a car to get in it, and you still sit down no matter what you're on.
Isn't a car, a taxi, and a cab essentially the same thing, though?
I meant cabs in like all sort of cabs.
Yeah. Here we go. Time for a few tequila shops. Science question of the week usually gives me brain cramps. Good question, but I think he's right because you walk on, but you have to get in a car. But you have to get in a train, though, don't you?
You walk on a train, don't you?
Yeah.
But you don't walk on a car, you get in a car. Yeah.
Maybe Chris is onto something there. Maybe it's how you approach the vehicle in a sense, because you do walk onto a plane, don't you?
Mm.
And
Now
you
you
do
get
walk onto a because you don't walk onto a bus.
Yeah.
Or do you? Yeah, you do.
You walk onto
do
a bus.
Onto a bus.
Unless it's going really fast.
Yeah, but you say
Well,
like
TJC's driving.
Yeah, but you say like get on the bus, don't you? You don't say get in the bus, get on the bus,
No.
but you'll say get in the car. Fascinating, Si.
Can't take any credit. Made me baffled this week, that one.
You can get onto things you can stand up inside.
Yeah, I think Christy's onto something there, like what John O says here. I think if you stood up and you approach, that's the on business.
Look at Phil. I'm asking my students that very question today, Si. They are, Phil, you see.
But again, it's not this case is this one.
That's the same old as you take the piss, but you have a crap.
Okay.
Nobody get in his car.
No.
That's all right. One thing I will say about Shabby, you can't ask for a mate that will go through it all with you. Shabby's a solid friend. Thank you, pal. That's a nice thing to say. BTR says, onto something. Can't stand going through the door onto something. Can't stand while walking through the door. What do you think?
Well, you must be right, because you get into a car by like crouching down and sitting in, but the others you just walk on, don't you? So that's what it must be. As in the plural of saying it, like.
Oh God! What
Because
are we
into
talking?
must be like crouch.
What are we talking about? Generally, when it's public transport for multiple people, it's on. When it's small public vehicle, like a taxi, it's in. Do you agree with that, Kat?
Yeah, that sort of makes sense. I think going back though, I think the sort of, because you open the door and you just get in a car, don't you? Whereas when a door opens on a bus, you have to get on it and then get in a seat. So I'm just wondering why my daughter's fascinating questions have always been like, was the world black and white when you grew up and things like that? Why does she never
No.
We go into Ahmed's taxi and we got out a mile from our destination at the MEC. There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
That must be like the Ryanair version.
Ryanair version. Adam says, I'm saying that all things you get on carry multiple people and cars only carry small amounts. Yeah, but in a car, it's still multiple people, isn't it? If you've got like an SUV or a...
Yeah, and it depends how many drunk people you've got to take home.
That's a good point. Yeah. But would you call them a few or multiple? Claire says, oh, hang on a minute, I've just pressed the wrong bloody button here. Claire says, because you walk onto a plane, bus, train and get a seat, but you sit in a car, cab, and decide, yeah, but you also sit in one of them though, Claire, right?
But I think that's right. I think the approach is how you approach it, innit? If you stood up, you're on. And if you have to crouch or do any other movement, it's in.
Yeah. Amy says it's in a small vehicle, you can sit in it. Getting onto something means you can stand in it. Get on the subway, but you don't. Yeah, you can stand in it as well. God, this.
Baffling one this week.
Look at that. I agree, say it's weird. Like you can get on the piss, but you can't get in the piss. Like,
yeah.
Kind of makes
So
sense.
really fits a lot of things, doesn't it? The same sort of sayings.
Yeah.
Mm.
Arnie had to get into the chopper before he got in it. APD, what? 10 minutes watching this shite. What are they talking about? Kieran, it goes back to the early days of travel when on board was the more topical phrase for planes, trains, and ships. On board.
Mm.
What
But
do you
wasn't
think
that
of
all
that?
aboard?
It must be on board. I only put on board to a ship, though. I've never really said it. Oh, I don't know. Get on board.
No,
Have you?
because the ship is all aboard.
Mm. But so was trains, because that's what the guards used to shout, wasn't it? All
The
aboard.
trains was all aboard. All aboard.
Yeah, smart cookie. This cat, smart cookie. You're right.
Yeah.
All aboard. Yeah. So on or all. How we adding
All
up to
in.
it now? I like Claire's reason. Mr. B says,
Hmm.
Jumpy says, get on a bus. Yeah, you get on a bus, but you don't get in a bus.
But is it all aboard the boats as well?
It would be if it was like going off on a jolly outing, wouldn't
Well-
it? If you were off to the seaside, it would be all aboard the bus, wouldn't it? Everyone on the bus, sort of thing.
Everyone on
I
the
agree with
bus.
Luke. I think the nearest approach that my feeble mind can reach to is
Yeah.
the way you approach vehicles. If you stood up walking, it's on, and if you use any other form of crouching down or anything else, it's in. That's what I think Chris is
What
the
if then
nearest.
you are pissed as a fart and you're crawling onto the bus? Does that mean that you're not on the bus? You're in the bus.
It's not the way you are.
Have you got a night out you wish to tell us about, Kat? Is that what
Me, no.
walking, standing to enter versus sitting, getting onto something is the difference. I agree, but you
Yes.
sit on it. But you sit on everything, though. You sit on everything, though, don't
Yeah,
you?
but not to go into it, do you? Like to a car, you open the door and immediately you sit down. Whereas a bus, you'll go on
Yeah.
and you'll sort the driver out and then you walk to your seat, don't you? Then sit down.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Plus, you have to hop on a bus. That's right, hop on. Yeah, that's true. When the when the back end was open, like on the buses, do you remember you used to grab that pole?
They have to be quick, didn't you? You have to grab it.
DTM. I
Talking
DTM.
about your sordid past now, aren't we, Shabby?
In a bath, on a seesaw, on a bike. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not on a bath, is it? It's weird that. You're right, Catherine. You said at the start, the English language is a bit. It's not on a bath, it's in a bath, but it's not in a seesaw, it's on a seesaw.
Mm.
Is that because you just placed on it and you're not in it? Is that what it means? Oh, thanks. It's your bloody question. In a train, plane, or bus, you can walk around on the inside, but not in a car. Right. I think we're establishing that then, aren't we, Cat and Si?
Yeah.
It's something you can
Yeah.
walk around, stand in, and so forth. I think,
Yeah.
Simon, we might have got a conclusion to a question of the week for once.
It's an ambulatory vehicle.
Look at this. You get on the Luar as well, James. Also, I can't say Si gets in my nerves. Si gets on my nerves. Keith Dyke says, what if you are put onto an ambulance as a stretched patient? When you're all right, so what would you say, Kat? If you've got someone coming on a stretcher, is it you don't say in a stretcher, do you? It's on a stretcher.
You'd say put them on the bus. They're known as buses. They're not known as ambulances. You call them buses.
Yeah, but if say, for example, I was a doctor there, right, Kat, and I turned around to you at the hospital and said, put him in the bus. You wouldn't look at me and say, well, that's not a bit weird. It's meant to be on the bus, not in the bus, would you? Or would you? No. So I don't think it really matters which one you say, does it, Si?
I don't know. It's very baffling. It's baffling as in like what terms we use for how we get into certain different vehicles. It made me think this week when you said it.
APD says, I once fell into a bus and cracked my head. Bit tiddly, but they didn't charge me my fare. I guess the concussion was worth it in the end. He went home with £1.32.
£2 saved.
This is welcome to the club, Sandra. Sandra's been here 1 week. She's like, no, forget this. I don't want... Well, he did get on the Luas technically, Connor. The length of time he was on it was more down to you. Well, a bit of a... Do you know about this, Cat? The
I
controversy?
don't know. No.
Start explain to Cat the controversy of Ireland, of
We
losing our friend
went to
James.
Dublin 2 years ago, and we had to get the Lewis train into a different part of the city. And when we all got on, Connor said, "Have you got any change? Because the bus conductor's getting on and he'll search us." And as we were looking, James McGirt got on, and for some reason, Connor just turned around and pushed him out the door. So James, luckily, he's a fit lad, so he caught up with us dead quick. Again, he'll have to ask Connor why he threw him off. It's still a mystery to this day.
Well, that's the conspiracy in it. From what I gather, size was he pushed or did he fall?
Oh, he was definitely pushed.
Oh, so you're saying he was definitely pushed?
Oh, there's enough witnesses here.
Right. Okay. This will add a mind blow to it. You get on a motorcycle. Cause
Yeah, but you can't get in a motorcycle, can you? See, that one does make sense to me because you have to get on it. You don't get in it.
Right. Well, we'll
There's
thank
nothing to
Casey
get into,
for this.
is there?
We should thank him for 15 minutes of this pure live stream joy.
Now, that's a good one.
Go on.
Do you
Did you
get
get on a
in a
submarine
submarine or on a submarine? Yeah, that's a good one. Because I don't know how you'd approach that one. Because you're obviously in it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get off the Luas if you're with Connor? That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point, Si. You get in a sub as you can't walk on. It needs to climb done. You need a climb done to a ladder. Right. Well, yeah, he's got a point. It sounds like, when you're not upright, you get into something. When you're upright.
Well, maybe that's something to say that is a bit of both then, because you have to get on the ladder to get into the submarine. So that's a bit of both, isn't it, the submarine one?
BTR. What happens if you get in a car and then drive onto a train, though?
You just said it. You get in a car, then drive onto a train.
There you go.
Yeah.
I got on a plane once that was so full I had to sit next to the rear gunner. Thanks, George. Thrown off DTM. Coxie says Liverpool lost 1-0. Well done, Spurs. Didn't expect that. Maybe we're about to go through a bad spell. Well, it is that time.
I'll tell you the truth. For me, watching that match at the start of the night, once that accident happened with that lad, it put a sickener on it again. I hate seeing things like that with young lads playing football. It makes me laugh that, back in the day of football when you could have a fag at half time and they're drinking pints and they're up Boom Boom Street with page 3 models, you never heard of these injuries and you never heard of footballers collapsing with seizures and things like that. It was unheard of. And I think that there's that much pressure today put on Premier League footballers. This happens like once a week now. It's getting ridiculous. Once I saw that lad faint like that and flop like that, it just put me off the old match. You know what I mean? I hope he's well. You know what I mean? I hope he's all right and everything.
I agree. Watching your team puts me off football forever. So I do agree with that side. Jono, you can walk onto a sub if it's on the surface. Oh, now that's a good point. So if a submarine's half submerged, you walk onto it, don't you?
We have to walk on to get in. That's what I said before about the submarine one. That's a bit of both, isn't it?
And if the sub wasn't on the surface, then you couldn't walk to it, really, because it'd be underwater.
You'd have to swim.
You glad you came on, Cat?
No.
Oh. Oh, brilliant. Right, let's get over this now. I go over the origins of the word posh is what?
Port out, starboard home. So it's the way that a boat goes.
Well, for a start, again, Kat, you just read the words, I get on the words origins, but there's no get on in that sentence whatsoever. It just says, I know the origins of the word posh is port out, starboard home. So I know Mark likes to read these and make his own words up and stuff, but I'll just put it on.
Can you imagine a sitcom in the buses? Oh, right, brilliant. I got on this thing called the Bang Bus, and then they put something on it that covers both.
You don't need to know what you're too innocent for the Bang Bus, Mark.
Oh, what's it to cover this seat? Oh, here we go. BTR says, get on an animal. You don't get in the horse, for example. Oh, that's a
Depends
good
what
point.
videos you're watching.
I don't know. North Carolina did a VTR, some do.
I've no idea. I've always been in other buses. In other bus. I've no idea. I've always been in other bus. Could it be because a car is more confined, hence in? It's more of a confined space.
Do you know? I'm just going to walk everywhere from now on.
Spec car.
Yeah.
Steps in, it's fine.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm not going to read it out, but it's right there. So,
Oh, that's throwing a proper spanner in the works now, yeah.
it's cold here, but none colder than my, what is it? Revenge for Connor. After 2 years, Cat. After 2 years. Miriam definitely pushed.
We were there, weren't we, Miriam?
Hi, Delvin. Oh, no, you haven't missed it.
We're living it.
Scottish motorcycle officers, if they want you out the car, they say, all right, Sterling out the car. Sterling out the car.
Yeah, you got to say it in a Scottish accent.
Oh, no. What about the motorcycles with all the weather shells? I guess you were in them, not on them. What do you reckon to that?
What?
Well, you'd still be in it,
yeah.
wouldn't you? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, you would be on it.
Yeah.
You'd be in it.
Oh, well, it is a question. It's 2 years now. We'll never get to the truth. Should be on Roald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. But you know what I mean? Because you never know. You get on a horse. If you get on a horse, the RSPCA, the law, your friends and your family will judge you if you get in it. Yeah, that's a good question. Can't wait to get my coffin. Can't wait to get in my coffin. Oh, right. Well, there you are. There were size questions of the week. So we have the lovely Cat here. And for some people, you might know it. Oh, well, she's just, she's Keith's wife. But there's a lot more about Cat that you don't know in the side that we found out. And as we say every week, that these pictures are true pictures. So here is a life of Cat Knight. Didn't realise Cat was in so many Stephen King movies, so many of them.
Oh, yeah.
I
You
just
learn
love
about
the fact you
people.
managed to find
You
one
go
of
back in the
Pennywise
past.
with the same gun as Keith.
And that police uniform that Keith had on, was that like standard issue, or was that just something that he wore?
Shrunk in the wash.
Oh. And with Si, I hate seeing a lad go floppy. Must be about
I missed something.
So we're listening while we're playing golf. Dad said, "Why is this even a conversation? Who cares?" Dad's like, "What? This is actually making me look fun." Oh, brilliant. Marcy's on here and she's having a right chuckle. Well, oh, is it Marcy? Yeah.
Macy.
Macy. I am Macy. Nice to see you too. You're watching on the sidewalk or in the city? You're walking, watching, walking. I'm going to put the glasses on.
Yeah, good idea. I think that's a good idea. You do that, kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Kat, will you be walking on the pavement or in the park?
On the pavement. Yeah. Don't go around in parks round here.
Anyone got a rope? Sometimes you get on the bed, sometimes you get in the bed, and sometimes the bed gets in you. Isn't that right, Reynolds Reviews?
Only in Blackpool.
Is it Stand By Me or Stand With Me? Well, Kat was in it, so you should ask Kat. Do you know what I mean?
Stand by me.
Jumpy says Stand On Me.
I absolutely love Stand By Me, do you? What a great film that is. It's just a brilliant piece of filmmaking, isn't it?
Sandra says, shit, that one of Keith in his Sunday night outfit has made my eyes bleed. Well, I have the picture, Sandra, if you ever want me to send it to you. It's not a problem. It's what Keith sent us. I mean, people think me and Si make these pictures, but Keith, we said, what did you say to Keith, Si? We sent me some pictures. And
yeah,
what he said.
Sent me some pictures, and that's what he sent in. What can I do? No, that was Keith.
Keith. Kieran says, was Kat in Shawshank or was she on Shawshank?
Well, Shawshank was a prison, wasn't it? So you'd be in prison, not on prison.
Yeah.
Keith nearly made it all the way through those pics, and right at the end, I'm gonna rewind. Anyway,
you got started.
Kathy Bates is a close friend. So you're right, brilliant. She dedicated her family, her Hollywood star to my niece.
Oh,
How great was she in Misery? She franked the death out of me in Misery. She was a right old girl, wasn't she? Horrible.
I don't think your Sandra wants that picture. Please, for the love of God, no. But anyway, we're at the end of the chat. We've seen the life of the lovely cat, but we're here to see what's in the tub. So I'm going to put our cat right there, and then we'll make Cat big. So Cat, show me, Si, and the lovely people in the chat what's in your tubs.
Well, before I scare everybody with the horror, I wanted to show you, because obviously I am sort of, at the minute, I'm a vintage student. Is my little Jogra nurse, my little Playmobil nurse.
Awesome. Yep.
Obviously stolen from Keith's collection, but it's now mine.
Yeah.
What did you think of all his Playmobil and stuff, Kat? You've always been like supportive of his toys and stuff like that. Because my wife, I mean, I've been married 21 years, and my wife always has, but she's always she's not into it, but she doesn't mind me doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's better now that he's got it in a shed, because at one stage, all of his Playmobil was in boxes in our bedroom, and it was literally like living in a hoarded house. And you lived in fear of one of those boxes moving, because we'd have both been dead. But yeah, it keeps him out of mischief.
Yeah,
it's just when you're watching telly and it gets to the last 10 minutes of the film that you spent 2 hours watching, and he goes, "What do you think of this figure? What's it?" And put it somewhere in a minute. Don't sod off with it.
Oh, brilliant.
So, yeah. But to be fair, he did make me my own Pennywise Playmobil.
Yeah, he's talented in that
Yeah,
sense.
that's cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
He is.
What's the body you use for that? I've never seen a Playmobil like that.
They do. They have like a clown band. And it's one of the clowns, and then he painted it and he fiddled about with it, and I mean, I've sat and I've watched him, and he used to make, with his little die-cast cars, he used to make diorama, and he used to start with like a cornflakes box, and it was literally like, and he'd faff about, and then he'd take it outside, spray paint, and he'd come in, and it'd be a building, and you'd be like,
yeah.
He's
fabulous at custom work, isn't he? Some of his stuff's amazing, isn't
it? He kept it quiet though for ages, because I was finding it on Facebook on his so not necessarily kept it quiet, but he didn't talk about it a lot. And I was like, I brought it up on CSR years ago, and I was like, have you seen what this fella Keith Knight makes? And I showed it on CSR, and no, I mean the stuff he does is ridiculous how good.
And when he says he doesn't do any plans, he doesn't. They're all in his head. He knows how it's going to look, and he just does it.
Yeah, he's very talented. Very talented.
Yeah.
Misspent youth. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we've got, and I only had this for Christmas, so it's not actually a tub, but it's so cute. This is Nurse Florence Merriweather, and she's one of the Sylvanian families, but she was a mail away, so she wasn't a sort of general release. So she's quite rare, bless her. But she's just really cute.
The lovely Helen, Steph, they all like Sylvanian families, don't they? So
just a real cutie.
Do you know what it's called over here, Cat? Sylvanian families. It's called Calico Critters.
Oh.
It's exactly the same thing, though.
I think that sounds better, actually.
Calico Critters, it's called. Yeah.
Yes, Kieran. It's a kid, like, you'd see it with the older Sylvanian families in Toy Masters and stuff. And it always looked great, didn't it? Always like the proper, like, girls' collection of all little houses and little mice and rabbits and stuff. It was top stuff, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't know Cat was into Pennywise the Clown. I'm half expecting him to wave it as well. There you are, Win.
Yeah. Yes, I'm big Pennywise fan. So there's more Pennywises to the side of me here. So there's they're everywhere.
I'm loving this. Great show.
Are you more for Pennywise today? Are you more for Tim Curry's Pennywise, which to me is the ultimate Pennywise?
I Tim Curry every day, and I think I was only in my sort of late teens, early 20s when I first saw that, and it was, I think I've said before, that was how I saw him when I read the books, because I don't stupidly love. I'm actually scared to death of clowns. I cannot go to a circus, but I love Pennywise, and this room has got that many of them in. But it's weird because I think I love him as the character rather than the fact that he's a clown, which makes no sense. But there you go. But yeah, it's definitely Tim Curry every day.
What's the difference, the movies? Because I've never seen the original Tim Curry. I've never seen it. But I saw the newest. I saw half of the new one. I thought it was all right. But is it similar? Are they the same type of thing?
Yeah, because they sort of do stick to the story. I mean, there are bits obviously that they couldn't use, but believe it or not, the actual films that came out, the Bill Skarsgård ones, are actually closer to the books than the Tim Curry miniseries was.
Yeah.
But I think for most people of sort of our generation, because you've seen the original, a remake is never going to measure up. It's like if they remade Star Wars today with all the CGI and everything else, you think of the wondrous effects that they could have, but it would never be the same as the originals.
I agree.
No.
I agree.
No.
Yeah.
So I think it has a whole new following of people who didn't see the original and then may have gone back and watched it and thought, But yeah, for me, the original.
That's a good point. But it's so. Which one was more based? Because you're a book reader. Which one was more based on Stephen King's It, the book? Was it the new one or the old one?
The new one is closer.
Right. Okay.
It actually describes his costume in the book, and it is a silver suit because he's supposed to be a being from space. So I think it was sort of based on a spacesuit type clown rather than your archetypal sort of clown that you would see in the sort of 70s, 80s.
Oh, okay. Fascinating. Brilliant. Tim Curry as Pennywise is frightening, but not as frightening as John Boy Walton's ponytail.
That thing did have a lot of
I always thought that was like a wig sort of put on him. Was it his real ponytail? He couldn't have been, could it?
It's not like that one he wears when he's trying to get back with his wife, doesn't it? It's one of Del Boy's dodgy wigs.
Must have been.
The APD says that's such a coincidence. Mrs. APD is scared of clowns but married one.
Well, maybe all that fear of clowns, Cat, you put into the one source, which is Pennywise, and because you can handle that, maybe that's what keeps your fear of clowns to a limit. It's funny, isn't it, how people practice stuff? Yeah,
it is. But I think that's part of the human condition, isn't it? You like to frighten yourself. That's why people go on roller coasters. You like to scare the shit out of yourself.
See, that sort of stuff I have no issue with, roller coasters and stuff. I just get on them, but
but they're more likely to break down, and you're more likely to hurt yourself on one of them than you are from reading a book or watching a film. Yeah,
good point, Kat. Good point. Thanks for that, Kat. Next time I get on one, I'll be sat there going, oh, hang on a minute. Tim Curry as Pennywise says our DTM is just genius, almost beats his Home Alone. You love him in Home Alone 2, don't you, Si?
Oh, it makes Home Alone 2. The only reason Home Alone 2 is better than the first one is because of Tim Curry in that film. And the way he says "I love you" in it to that guy, I love you, makes me laugh my head off every year.
Yeah,
That's right. The new It movie, Cat, they split it in two, didn't they? Is that right? There's
Yeah.
two
The old one.
movies.
The old one was 2.
Oh, I
The
didn't
old-
know that.
The old one is a mini series, though. It wasn't films, was it? It was a mini series. A lot of his sort of earlier stuff was done. Things like that were done it as the 2-part miniseries. Things like Rose Red as well, that came out as a miniseries, and I don't think that ever came out as a film. But he didn't write the original book for that; he just wrote the screenplay. And there's been quite a few of his books that started off as sort of miniseries that just never went any further.
It is funny how much that guy's actually wrote. And then there's certain things like not the big things, and it'll say written by Stephen King, and you're like, no way, you know what I mean? It's loads
Well,
of
I've just
stuff
found out this week that The Running Man, they're making a remake of The Running Man film, that was actually Stephen King, but under a different pseudonym. Richard somebody.
Richard Bachman. Yeah, the Bachman
Yeah,
book.
that's blew my mind that this week, knowing that he wrote The Running Man. I was like, that's everything good, doesn't it?
But do you get in or on a roller coaster?
Well, you get in the car on the roller coaster. Smarty pants.
It's
a bit of submarine one there. In and out.
Tim Curry's a legend. As Frankenfurter, he is boss. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, brilliant.
I just watched the new one of them, the new Salem's. I did watch that on HBO. And I found it very cheesy, but I didn't know there was an old one, so I didn't know. I'll have to watch that one as well.
Yeah, the old one, David Soul.
Right. Everyone's loving Salem's Lot. Love Salem's Lot, Keith. Yeah, a few people like that.
I've got a few bits from sort of Salem's Lot. We've got Mr. Barlow.
That's great.
He's brilliant. He's Mr. Barlow.
What is that?
That's a custom figure that Keith found for me.
Wow.
God knows where, but yeah, it's Mr. Barlow. He's the master, the vampire from Salem's Lot, and he's just absolutely a bit closer. He's absolutely brilliant. He's
that is good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we've literally not long had 2 new kittens, and we've actually called them Straker and Barlow from Salem's Lot.
Yeah, I saw the Mr. Barlow on Facebook. He's a
little sods they are.
Me too. Watch it every time. Often here. Tim Curry's amazing in that fantasy movie Legend. Yeah, I didn't realize that wasn't
in Legend.
Yeah, he was. He plays that Satan kind of thing, doesn't he? Isn't Pennywise supposed to be the Crimson King in the Gunslinger book by Stephen King? Says Ricardo.
I think that's one of those fan fiction wishes that they were, because there was also talk that Roland Flagg in The Stand was supposed to be from the Gunslinger series.
Right.
But I've never read the Dark Tower books because they're not.
Well, hang on, we've just seen with Idris Elba in your real photographs. Do you know what I mean? That was from the Dark Tower, wasn't it? So
they just, I don't know why, they just never appealed to me. I've never been that sort of, whether the name, the Gunslinger or whatever, just put me off, because I was always like really sort of, never liked Westerns or anything like that. And I've just never read them. And I should do really, but no, I've never read them, and I don't own them either.
So what do you think, Jack? Do you think in the world of Stephen King that it is all connected, that it is all intertwined, or do you think no, they're separate?
I mean, I've read and I've watched a load of his interviews and things like that, and he says that when he first started writing, because obviously he was an English teacher. I mean, how cool will that be to have him as your English teacher? That he always, in his mind, Carrie White from Carrie, obviously, was Jack Torrance's daughter. And that's why she had the abilities same as Danny. But when he wrote the book, he was told to edit it out because they didn't think that making a sequel of books that early in his career would be a good career move. So that element was actually taken out. But that's why Carrie White hasn't got a dad, because Carrie White's dad is supposed to have been Jack Torrance.
No way, that's mint, that.
Yeah.
I'm having that as well, because it's very sort of same sort of telekinetic powers. Carrie, that's another one that frightened me as a kid. Sissy Spacek was so good as a Carrie, wasn't she?
Amazing.
And the mum terrified me. The mum was horrible, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was a wicked old bat. But, yeah.
Question for Kat: who is the bigger cat lady responsible for the rescues, you or Keith?
We're both as bad. It's one of them things people will say, my cat's had kittens and I'm taking them to the cat sanctuary, and it's like, oh God. But people get you by going, do you want one of these cats? And you go, yeah, I'll have one. And then they go, well, there's two now. Otherwise, he's going to miss his brother.
So you must have about 15 cats in your house, don't you? Something.
11.
Oh, my God, I've got one. That's enough.
But they're all rescues, so you know what I mean. It's like, and some of them, we've had from cat sanctuaries, and they've had proper horrible lives, bless them, and they're our babies, and they're happy, and they do their own thing, and they live it shit out of Keith, which saves me a job. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Alp says the makeup job in The Darkness in Legend is just incredible. It is, isn't it? The way they did Tim Curry in that is great. That's not Stephen King, is it? Legend? No. The Dark Tower book series connects to a bunch of other books I've read the Dark Tower series multiple times, says Ricardo, so he likes it.
Yeah.
Mind blown, Kat. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is mind blowing. That, you don't think of things like that, but I suppose as a creator, you do put things like that's how you do think of stuff. It's like how John Hughes thought of all his films in the 80s that Kevin McAllister lived next door to Ferris Bueller and that sort of thing. But even though you seem as separate, it's actually you can connect all these things together. Brilliant.
I think it's a way of sort of keeping your stories on a line that. It's like with a song, isn't it? You find a hook to a song, and you know that it's going to get people to sing along, and they're going to carry on with the song, unless you're Keith and you only know one line. So if you've got a something that works within a book, then you're going to stick to that because it's like a recipe, isn't it? It works. So if it ain't broke, why are you going to fix it?
I agree with that 100%. Carrie's mother was scary. Do you know what scared me the most, Cat and Si, when I was a kid? And I think that's what put me off horror movies was the Stepford Wives. I remember that part where she turned around at the end and all her eyes were black. Do you remember? Oh, man, I wasn't a fan of that at all. So
Stepford Wives,
yeah. I watched all the Stephen King movies. Carrie, Christine, Sleepwalkers, Dreamcatcher, Stand By Me was a Stephen King. That's why you put it in there.
Yeah, that's actually a short story called The Body. Yeah, it's
that was Stephen King as well. You're exactly right, Si. It's fascinating, isn't it? It really is. But never thought any of this stuff. Even Firestarter was scary, says G-Force.
Yeah, and the remake of that was good as well at Firestarter, because the original I think was Rob Lowe, wasn't it? But the remake was good.
Christine was good. Yeah, they're all big Stephen King fans in here. All right.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That made me even bigger for that one. That's awesome.
And if there was ever a car that I would really love to have, it would be this. I would love this car.
So what is it? Is it? I've never seen it. Is it like a possessed car or something?
Yeah. She the car sort of chooses her driver, and she gets very jealous if they get girlfriends and things like that. And she's a force of nature. Is Christine.
Queen asks you, Kat, have you ever watched the scary video clips on YouTube? I've watched quite a number in the past year, and some are unexplainable and some a bit fake.
I do. I mean, it annoys Keith, but I watch like Project Fear, and I watch Ghost Adventurers and things like that. And you know that 90% of it is just bullshit. But it's easy watching, and it's funny. And sometimes sometimes it makes you think. Like I said, I've lived in a lot of pubs, and I've had a few experiences myself that weren't that were a bit scary. So yeah, I think it depends on your psychological point of view as whether you believe in life after death, I suppose.
We'll have to get you. We'll have to. Super Awesome just started a channel like this, Annie, for all the paranormal stuff. We'll have to get you on Super Awesome to tell your pub stories. That'd be great. Kieran says, I always find it funny that my favourite TV and film adaptations of Stephen King books are always King's least favourites. It's like B-sides on albums sometimes, isn't it? You know, when you have a B-side.
Well, to me, Stephen King always came across as a bit like Alan Moore, where he never seemed to be happy with anything that was made from his books. He never seemed to be truly like glad that something had been. He always seemed to have that. I might be wrong, but he came across as Alan Moore like that. Like Alan Moore's a fantastic writer. Yeah, if he made anything of his books, he just totally off it. Do you know what I mean? He hadn't done this right, he hadn't done that, and just gave up with it. So is he
I think that's why he started working with Frank Darabont and started actually doing the screenplays himself, because he was unhappy with the adaptation. I mean, it's famous that he didn't like Kubrick's version of The Shining. And again, that's a mini series which is closer to the book, but it's hard to find. But if you ever find that, that's a good one as well. But
so what was it about The Shining that he didn't like? Because it's considered a masterpiece, isn't it? The Shining.
Who doesn't like it? Stephen King doesn't like it.
No, he hates the Kubrick version, because if you read the book and you actually get to know the character, I mean, everybody hates Jack Torrance in the film. He's a axe wielding maniac.
Oh, now that's
He's he's not a nice guy, but in the book it's sort of got more of his backstory, and you learn about his alcoholism, and you actually get an affection for him. So when he goes to this hotel and he then gets possessed, you're not thinking, good, I'm glad you've sort of like froze to death in the maze, you rotten git. You're actually like, you actually feel for him, and you feel absolutely gutted.
Yeah, it's a brilliant film, The Shining. I've never read the book. I do hear a lot of people saying that, there are a few things in the book that aren't like, and I've also heard, and I've not seen Doctor Sleep yet, but a lot of people have said that Doctor Sleep's more to the book than what it is The Shining was, if that's correct.
Yeah, it is, and I have seen Doctor Sleep, and what I actually thought was nice, because again, King did do the screenplay for that, but I think in a way of sort of taking people with him, as I said, a bit about the recipe and everything else, there were bits put into that were a homage to the Kubrick Shining, like the carpet and the Overlook Hotel. Instead of it being the sort of Stanley Hotel, it was the other hotel, and it was the bits of Danny on his trike and things like that, and it was brilliantly done. And I think if you like The Shining, you'll love the film Doctor Sleep. It was really, really well done, really well done.
I just watched that 7-8, which is that relatively new movie that was the prequel to Rosemary's Baby. And that was pretty good. I watched that, and that just came out as well. I didn't know that was a prequel to the very end, and it goes into Rosemary's Baby, if you will. Okay. So yeah, it's 7-8. It's called Apartment 7-8. It's called. TJC says, "Cat, I have a friend of mine that imports American cars. I could ask if he has a Plymouth for you. Me and G-Force will get one for you. That's easy." Christine, The Car and Jewel are all movies about possessed vehicles. That's right, Jewel is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the same possession? Is it the same thing that possesses them all?
It's just that the cars have a life of their own, and it's never a being that's sort of haunting the car, or the car is just born evil. The beginning of Christine, when she's on the lot, she, one of the guys who on the assembly line gets in with a cigar, gets cigar ash on her seat. She don't like it, so she locks him in and kills him.
Yeah,
seems fair to me.
She'd have a nightmare with my wife how mucky her car is. Oh, it drives me mental. Do you know what I mean?
Keith hates me in my car because I don't smoke, so he feels like he can't smoke in my car. Whereas it doesn't bother me because my daughter smokes in the car, but no, he doesn't. And Green Mile is a Stephen King book.
I never knew that. You did your research, man, on these gallery this time. I never realised all these things.
No, there's no research on any gallery. These are all true pictures from. Account. There's no what you're on about.
The Green Mile actually started off as it was a series in an American magazine. I'm not quite sure what the magazine was, but it was like every week he released another chapter of it. And when it was first released as a book, I've got the sort of books over there. It was released in sort of 5 books in 5 parts, and it wasn't amalgamated into a novel until way later.
Fascinating. This has been awesome. I've loved this. Running Man was directed by Starsky, or was it Hutch? One of them directed Running Man. I don't no idea. Yeah, Julie's good. Dennis Weaver didn't get spooked by that lorry. About 5 miles from my high school was a witch's grave. All kinds of weird stories circled about, but until I experienced it, going to it, did I realise they were probably true.
I agree with Kat though. I spend all my time on YouTube looking at Nuke's Top 5 and fearsome videos and all that because my ex-girlfriend's house was so haunted as a kid. 5 years in this house and I saw 2 exorcisms, all sorts happen, you know. So I think when you've had them sort of experiences, you do tend to look out for stuff like that, don't you? And like he said, you know, a vast majority is a load of crap, but there is 4 or 5 of them that will ring a bell with you that you'll think that happened to me, that I was in them circumstances. And it's weird, isn't it? It's weird how it's done.
It is.
DTM asks, Cats, what's your favourite Stephen King film, apart from Pennywise films, obviously?
I think one of my favourites is Shawshank. I love the Shawshank Redemption. And again, that epic long film comes from a short story.
Amazing. It's a classic, though, that, isn't it? It's an absolute classic, Shawshank.
It is.
It was directed by Starsky. Blew my mind when I found that out. Wow, really? The Stand is really good. Love Tommy Knockers too. I've never heard of Tommy Knockers, guys.
Tommy Knockers,
yeah. Got the book over there. Tommy Knockers was aliens in the ground that forced people to dig them out. It's quite bizarre. Tommy Lee Jones is in that one, I think he is. Yeah, that's a good one.
The Outsider with Jason Bateman. Guys, amazing. Is it still writing now, Cat Stephen King?
Yeah,
I know he's getting on. He's still writing.
Yeah, the last one that came out was Fairy Tale. And that's one, the rights have been sold for the film for that. And then he's got one come out, If It Bleeds, and then which is short stories. And then there's another one due out in May that I've pre-ordered.
So you're on the ball with it, basically.
How old is Stephen King now?
In his 70s.
Yeah, so he's still young enough, still, isn't he? Yeah, still on the ball, right, and everything. Yeah. That's great to know, yeah.
But he says that because he does that every day, it keeps his mind going, that and his arguments with Donald Trump, I think, and what, keeps him young.
Yeah.
Shining fun facts, Cat and Si. The climax in the show, Covered Hotel, was actually filmed on a soundstage in England using 900 tons of salt as the snow. Was it? I remember that. It was going through the maze, wasn't it? It was the maze at the end where he was running through. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it was in the UK.
That was the prequel, pals. Yeah. Are Transformers cars possessed? I don't know. Mate. Oh, that's a good point, Ali. What do you reckon?
Well, if you get into a car, are you possessing it?
Question of the week, Si.
Use that next week.
We'll use that on season 3. Yeah, they are live forms. I do enjoy a good supernatural movie. Have you ever seen The Exorcist, Cat?
Yes. Yeah,
I've never seen it. Never seen it.
I think it's tempted today's standards, Mark. I don't think The Exorcist would bother you now to watch. I mean, back in the day, it was a bit terrifying, but today I don't think
there were priests outside because people were passing out and people were throwing up in the aisles and women were getting sterilised because they didn't want children in case, it was banned on video for what, 25, 30 years?
Yeah, it was. Great film.
Paul Michael Glazer, who played Starsky, directed The Running Man. The Running Man also features a cameo appearance by Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. Look at that. Unbelievable. So
look out for that.
Look at the poster right behind it. So let's have a look. Yeah, look at them. So we've got The Shining, Carrie, The Exorcist. There it is. Yeah, It. What's the one next to it? Is that it? Another It? Yeah, it is.
The one in the middle is Carrie. There's 2 It's above it. Then there's The Shining. Then there's The Exorcist. And actually, if I can move you around the corner, you've got. Oh, hang on 1 second. You've got Salem's Lot there.
There it is.
And then on the back of the door.
Oh, look at that.
Mark could shit himself stayed at your house, Cat.
Yeah.
Not when your own granddaughter sleeps in here. It's fine.
His arse would fall off in there, that room.
Me and my wife go to ghost hunts. Some of it is shy, but some of it can't be explained. Once we went in September, shut up, bitch, was said to the wife, and for once it wasn't me.
It's mad, isn't it? It is mad.
There you go. Bit blurry, but I can see it. Yeah, awesome. The Shining was filmed next door to the Empire Strikes Back Hoth set.
I never knew that. So I wonder if a lot of their stuff then was used over and keeping it snowy.
I've actually got in my Brackley paper bag. signed
Wow.
copy
Oh,
of
what's
the
that?
Shining script
No way.
for the film. No.
That's brilliant.
That is really
And all signatures
impressive.
on the front. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. That is really cool.
Shelley Duvall, Stanley Kubrick. That is brilliant. That.
is.
Ooh, I'd have that for put away.
I should put that back in its tub where it cannot be done.
Back
Yeah.
in tubs. When I watched the Omen back in the
Absolutely.
day, I thought they were kind of weird. Yeah, I've never seen. Oh, is that the one where that guy's head gets cut off? The Omen with that piece of glass.
That was the Omen
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
was it?
In
Was it
the,
the
fir- in the
with
first
cheap
one,
glass?
it's the priest at the end with the cross falls off the church.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, not for me. Yeah. What?
It is.
Yeah, look at that, Chief.
This is Salem's Lot. This is another one of Keith's that he's made for me. And this is Danny Glick, which is quite a...
He loves his light up stuff, Keith, doesn't he? He can light anything up,
He's
can't
got a
he?
light on it.
Yeah,
But that's
brilliant.
like,
That's really good. Yeah,
Showing some awesome stuff. Brilliant stuff.
yeah, that's
that's
me.
really good. Mark, you gonna
What's
have a
that?
night at keeping cat's
No.
house, Mark?
No. Oh, we lost 5 minutes. Backward stairwalk was hilarious. What's a backward stairwalk that Rob's talking about?
Reagan
know, when
walks
she
down
comes
the
out here.
stairs, like doing a back bend as a crab.
I was calling it like the
Oh,
spider
no,
walk. It was
no.
weird,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it's very
Yeah.
cool.
Look at that. Hang on, that script just repeats. All work and all play makes Keith a dull boy. That great film, Omen. Cadetti, cool, brilliant. That's really enlightened this stream, Kat. There you go. Well done, well done. Okay, what's next, Catherine? This is awesome.
Obviously, we've got the original versions of you and Cy.
They're cool, aren't they? I like them.
They're the little knitted sort of stitch figures.
Somebody showed us something like this. We've had these on the stream before, but I can't remember what they were.
Not like that.
Yeah, the knitted ones. The knitted
and
things.
the Danny Torrance as well.
Was it Steph?
Or was it Helen or Steph?
Somebody's
Probably
pulled them out. Well, they're cool, them. Yeah, I like them.
Oh, look him on his trike. That's brilliant.
It is because you can't really get Danny Torrance figures. I know poor old Keith has looked to his horror, and you just can't find them. So he's found that one, which is, and then you have to have Jack.
Yeah, you've got some stuff here that I've never seen. Any of all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Or was it 1,000 Ghosts that might have it? So Ghost has some of them size, so it could have been Chris. So he could have had them.
Yeah, I saw them. They knitted them things before. Yeah, with somebody. Yeah.
Cat, Shabby's hair was the same colour as those dolls last year. I tell you what, unbelievable. All right, Des. Cheers, pal.
And that's again Mr. Barlow.
There he is, Mr. Barlow.
That's cool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you like Funkos?
He finds a lot of these things because obviously you'll sort of come across them as he's doing his searches for his bits and pieces, and it's like, so it's great. Christmas, birthdays, anniversary. I always get my presents. It's great.
Cheers, Des.
And we got the.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that is cool.
Try and get the shine off it. Yeah. Pardon the pun.
Wow.
Feel that, innit, man?
And they do talk, but we've taken the batteries out because obviously they tend to sit on a shelf, and there's nothing worse than these things getting sort of the batteries leaking on them. So,
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was glad you were coming on and showing me this stuff, because obviously this is not in my wheelhouse at all. But I've said this many a time. I like looking at people's collections and what they have and learning from it. So this has been great for me. Unbelievable stuff.
and just in case you haven't had enough of that,
Come
and
on, play with us.
so they're the same as the Jack Torrance figure, the big Jack.
So how do you come across this sort of stuff? Because it's not really mass retailed, is it? Do you have to go online for this sort of thing and look for it? Or
To be honest, like I say, I don't because I've always been really hard to buy for because I don't really wear jewelry. I don't really wear makeup. I'm not really into clothes. I'm not really a sort of typical woman. I'm quite weird. So
Right.
Keith always found it quite difficult to buy for me. I'm not materialistic in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So I think when Keith discovered that I liked Stephen King and was really into Stephen King, I think that sort of gave him brilliant. I can buy her something other than elephants, because for a while that's all everybody used to buy me was elephants, because I like elephants. Hence the tattoo.
oh yeah.
But so to be fair, a lot of it is Keith. That tends to track these down, and he's like a bloodhound, bless him. If he thinks something's out there, or somebody says to him, "Well, did you know?" He'll find it.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky in that respect. He sort of finds a lot of it for me.
Jumpy says, "Cat, do you have the Living Dead dolls?"
Yeah, no, the dolls just showed, weren't they?
Yeah, those are the Living Dead dolls.
Yeah.
There they are. Wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, they're the
Living Dead
talking
dolls.
ones.
Literally, look at that. I've just asked. Look at that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And this
Not
is the
seen
last
those
of the
things,
Great
mate.
Twins.
Oh,
Now, I do have that.
I've seen those ones.
Yeah, G-Force got me that from America. So he did send me that. Yeah, I've got that one myself. That's cool, isn't it?
And then
Smith says,
you can have Regan to go with her.
"Oh,
That's cool as well, yeah. I like them Teeny Terrors. They're cool, aren't they?
Yeah, the artwork on the back's really good on that one as well.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
it's funny. You got all the scary ones, and G-Force sent me the Pee Wee one." that's all right. Go.
To be honest, Pee-wee was a bit weird, so I think I'll stick with the scary ones.
Smith said, "True story. Usually, when people get scared, their hair goes grey. When Shabby met Philip Schofield, he said." They are Redmond toy figures, same as the Jack figure. Right, okay.
So Keith I'll come off here and Keith will go, "You didn't tell people what they were."
The more Barbie-styled twins, who makes those, says G-Force.
They are those ones are the.
I think you meant in the black box, like the dark box you've got, Kat.
Oh, they're Redmond toys.
I
Yeah,
think
they're
your Keith
Redmond
has answered
toys.
it. They are Redmond toy figures, same as the
Yeah,
Jack
nice
figure.
then.
Redmond toys.
Wow.
Lovely.
Awesome.
But that's what I suppose, Mark, with things like that, you will have to search for merchandise and stuff for it. It's not everywhere, and people like to collect things that they're into, don't they? And sometimes it can be a search, can't it?
Do you have
young girls do it with that little salacious rum of his, even though you think it's Star Wars. When it comes to that character, there's not really a lot of stuff you can, you have to look for customs or look for certain things like that, don't you?
No,
really?
I get generally there's a convention, a horror convention, a big one over here that they do. And I watch Adam the Woo and other people go to it, and I do watch it, and I'm fascinated how big horror merchandise actually is, because Si's right in a way. I don't know how you sleep in the house. I feel like I wouldn't know where to look.
You sleep in a bed next to Keith. Do you really think anything's going to be scary?
Oh, brilliant. So yeah, G-Force likes them. So Redmond, sorry, spelt it wrong. No. Oh, first look, $155.
How much?
Wow, they're cheap. It's expensive then, aren't they?
What had you done that week, Keith?
Oh, brilliant.
Well, I know what he didn't do. He definitely didn't put a bid on West Ham winning. I know that. So that's why he didn't get any money.
Put it to man when he's downside. Don't do that side. Do you know what I mean? Mark, they really are awesome figures, mate. They are. Yeah. This has been fun. Right, what's next, Kat?
Next, we've got actually the first edition books. So
Very
that
cool,
was Christine. And look how young Stephen King was then.
So are these sought after, these first edition ones then?
Yeah, very much. Because obviously he was an unknown author right when he first started. So there wasn't that many that he wrote that were printed for first editions. And you're going back to the 1970s. So you find a first edition book from the 1970s written by somebody who's now as famous as Stephen King, and they are, they're like hen's teeth.
I bet they are, yeah.
They're not gonna part with them, are they?
So what was the first book you ever read, Kat? What was the first Stephen King book you looked at and thought, did it just do something to you? Did you just think, I've got to get everything this guy's done? Or
the first one I ever read was, I'm trying to think now. I think the first one I ever read was The Shining. She says, yeah. I think
it's funny because you think, what is it, 50-year career he's had? There's some of his stories are familiar with other ones, or are they all completely different stories, Kat?
They are really, some are really like mind bending. because and he's quite open about it. He went through a phase of cocaine addiction and alcoholism, and some of the things that he wrote when he was on that, he must have been on some wicked trips, because you know the stuff that he came out with, but then some of it is like is just the horror of humanity, like the Jack Torrance. It's what people do to other people. That's the horror of it. Yes, if you take away the ghosts and everything else that you know that were enticing him to do that, what human beings do to other human beings is more horrible than anything that any horror writer could ever come up with.
Yeah. That is a good point. I never thought about it that way. So, but he's still fascinating.
That's where those horrors sort of affect people more, because they're more likely to happen, aren't they? You know, you're more likely to get, I think I read a weird statistic the other week that you're more likely to get run over on your way to buy a lottery ticket than you are to win the lottery.
Makes sense. Yeah, you never think about that.
I never can go off any longer.
Just do it on your app. It's safer. And there we go. Carrie, which I think is, I think to a degree, anybody who was ever bullied at school can sort of, you know,
relate to that. Yeah.
Spot for Carrie. Because we'd all like to do that to our bullies, wouldn't we? Not necessarily lock them in a gym and murder them, but, you know, be able to sort of have a bit of revenge.
The end of that film when the hand comes out of the grave.
Oh,
that made me jump out of my skin at Carrie.
Yeah, and I think the remake was done quite well. But as you say, I think Sissy Spacek is, because she's got that look of her, hasn't she? She looks a bit different and a bit.
She does, yeah.
She's just a brilliant actress, wasn't she? When you think of Coal Miner's Daughter and you think of Carrie, and do you know what a fantastic actress that woman was, and she made every part believable. So for me, having her as Carrie, it was like, you know, even though I saw the new Carrie, it wasn't a patch on that one. It just wasn't, you know.
Wynn's made a good point here, though.
Might be more like the books and stuff, but sometimes I think that you watch a film and it's that one that sticks with you. Do you know what I mean? No matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
Wynn makes a good point here, Cyan Cat. He says, I thought Misery was horrific. Kathy Bates, she was the one. She was.
Did she not win the Oscar for that? She won the Oscar for Misery, didn't she? She was brilliant in that. But favourite bit of Misery is when she comes back home and everything's fine, and then she notices that penguin tips over. And everything, that little thing she notices, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But that's people's obsessions when they descend into mental ill health, isn't it? You know where everything is. You know, something's been moved, and it's the whole "I'm your number one fan." I mean, but I wonder how many times people have said that to him over the years. You know, "I'm your number one fan." It must sort of make you go,
yeah. Luckily, you on the Shabby Geeks, so I've got no fans. I'm away. No one's going to do it to me. I'm away.
No, so and because obviously we've been taught that's the first edition of the Shining.
These covers are all, you can tell what the era they're from with these covers. You know, these are brilliant.
I don't know about it, but Carrie sounds like brilliant.
That is. I mean, it's don't even know when this was actually off the top of my head, but he was because he was very influenced by Poe and people like that, wasn't he? So and you can tell that with his early stuff, but he was still working as a teacher sort of back then, and there wasn't it smells like an old book.
Awesome.
It's brilliant. Fab.
Palp says The Mist is a great movie adaptation from a King novel as well. The Mist was also Stephen King. I'm learning so much tonight. Piper Laurie, John Travolta, Nancy Allen, Amy Irving, and William Catt are all great in Carrie.
Yeah,
it
did have a great cast, didn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amy Irving, did she marry Steven Spielberg? Amy Irving, was it Steven Spielberg's girlfriend at the time? I'm sure it was.
Not sure.
One of the
Kate Capshaw now. Well, it has been since the 80s, hasn't it? But I'm not sure. So Amy Irving does ring a bell, though, Simon. So you might be onto something there, pal. I'm your biggest fan, Shabby. Cheers, TJC. Cheers, TJC. Thanks, mate. Right, Kat, what's next?
Going back to my nursey theme now.
Yeah.
Remember when you were a kid and every Christmas you got the annual in your...
Oh, yeah, we've done a stream on that. So, yeah, we know that.
Well, I used to watch Angels. It was sort of the pre-runner of Holby City and Casualty, and it was about like these nurses, and they lived in the nurses' home, and they were training. That's the 1977 annual.
Look at that.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
And that's the 1998.
Oh, look at that.
I was 5 and 6 when they came out.
Oh,
brilliant.
Brilliant.
Bless. But yeah,
Did you always want to be a nurse? From being a kid, did you always want to be a nurse? Is that what you wanted to do?
Always. If you my mum used to say from the age of about 3, I used to have all my like dolls, and that was it. I was making them better. And one year I got like the old nurse's apron and the hat made up. Always wanted to do it. When I left school at 17, it was back when you used to have an NHS place to train as a nurse.
Right.
Yeah.
And the year I left school, there weren't any places. So I thought, well, I'll keep myself busy. And I went off and I trained as a chef instead. And that kept me sort of busy. Went back to do my A-levels when I was 24. Did my A-levels, went to go to nursing. And my first husband was killed in a car accident. So it left me with 2 very, very young children. And it just meant that I had to put that on hold. And it was about 3-4 years ago, sort of just after COVID, or just as COVID was coming to an end, and I was working in local supermarket, and I had a conversation with somebody, and they were like, "Do you think you'll still be here in 20 years' time?" And you know, when you get that feeling of, "Oh my God, if I'm still here in 20 years' time," you know. And I came home and I said to Keith, "I'm going to apply to university," and as I say, Keith being as he is, he's gone, "Fair enough, I'll support you."
Yeah, brilliant.
And he does, bless him. I bore him rigid with making him read all my assignments and stuff like that, and correcting me English and things, because he's really good at that. So it was like, yeah, it's took me, like I say, I'm 52 now. I'll be qualified in 7 months' time. So it's took me all this time. But you know, if you want it, you can do it.
Kat, that's a massive inspiration, really is, just to show people it doesn't
you've
matter.
just gone from there,
You know what I mean?
to about there, and everybody's, what is it?
You push yourself, you work hard, you can achieve it, and I think that's amazing. That's really good, really good.
That's awesome.
Especially coming out of tragedy like that as well. You know, really, you could have collapsed after that, and you could have all self-imploded and gone depressed, but to come out of it and fight for something and get it.
I'm lucky. I think I'm quite resilient. It's like, you know, it's the worst thing that can happen is you wake up dead.
Yeah, Amy's got it right there. We're so proud of you, she says. And Mr. B
really
says, good on you. Yeah, there you are. Look at that. Yeah, right, you are. I also
and obviously from a sort of like a ha-ha point of view, it's like, because you now have to pay for your nurse training, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth. I'm that old now that by the time I qualify, I will never work long enough to pay all my student finance back.
Oh, no,
that's crazy.
52 is nothing. Me and Si are 50 this year, and we're like, nothing.
By the time I've finished, I'll have £80,000 worth of student debt.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I know what it's like for that over here living in the States. I mean, some of this, I mean, there's people my age still paying it off, and I'm like, wow, man, they've had it since they were 18, 19. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's madness, especially when you're looking at things like nurses and doctors, which are pretty much an essential service, but I won't go into politics.
I agree with G-Force. What an amazing attitude. Yeah, Kat, I mean, listen, I think I'll speak for signing all the chat. Everyone's mega proud of you for that, Kat. That's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. Well done, Kat. Good on you, Kat. Look at that, everybody. So
I'll get Keith to stream my graduation before.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely do. Yeah.
But
Kieran Ball says, if you wake up dead, does that make you a zombie though? Oh, if you wake up dead, doesn't that make you a zombie?
Probably, but you wouldn't know anything about it, would you? So you'd still be no worse off.
Why do zombies not think, Kat?
Well, they're just driven by eating, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are shit villain zombies, aren't they? They're just shit. Yeah. I could never get behind like a zombie villain, because they're just shit, aren't they?
So there's a Tub Thumpers exclusives. Our side says zombies are shit villains.
Oh.
And it's the old joke, isn't it? What do vegetarian zombies eat? Brains.
Anyway, thanks for coming to the Tub Thumpers. See you next week.
Brilliant.
Well, as you say, they'd get to Keith and he'd be all right because if they wanted to eat his brains, there's none there in the bugger off.
Yeah, that's true.
But nurse training used to be paid for. God, I love them UK
Oh,
government.
listen, Keith, as long as we look after the train drivers, that's the most important thing, obviously. Isn't it?
But if you live in
Stupid.
Scotland, Wales, or Ireland, they still pay for your training. It's only in England that they don't.
Jonathan's got a good point here for you horror people. It makes you a vampire. So, yeah, I suppose vampires and zombies are roughly the same type of thing, aren't they? There.
No, because
No,
a zombie is
vampires
a
are classic.
reanimated corpse, whereas a vampire is the undead.
Oh, I'd love to be a vampire. This has been going on since the start of the Tub Thumpers.
Yeah.
I would love to, because vampires are like super classy, aren't they? And they're like, they've got like loads of top stuff they can do. And if it means like not living in the day and not eating, I could very easily do that. To swap that to be a
Keith
vampire.
now. He just needs
I
the
could
teeth.
do it. I said, me, Keith, he's up with me at night. We're vampires.
Jumpy says yes, but the best zombie has got to be a nurse zombie. Yeah, do you agree with that?
No.
You wouldn't really want them dressing your wounds, would you? Because there'd be extra bits falling off them into there. At least with
Foxy
vampires,
said-
they don't age and they always look fantastic.
Coxie says, "Good on you, Cat. We're going to go for this size." Yeah. So when you watch Size Magic Trick, just think of Cat and what she said. Wake Up Dead was a quality Megadeth song. Zombie Strippers with Jenna Jameson was an interesting movie, Jumpy. Thanks for that, Kieran. If you wake up dead, then you're a lich. But you're a lich. Is that right? Lich.
Lich.
You know what that means,
Like.
Cat? Right? Lich.
Nope.
Lich? What do you mean, Palps? Cat's a legend. It's been a great Tub Thumpers. It has. I've loved this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, it's our kind. We knew she was going to be good. Right, Cat. Anything else to show us?
I think just for you, just to sort of like give you a few nightmares tonight.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Nice.
Love that.
And it talks, talking
No,
figure.
actually left. Okay. To talk.
Do you know, I've been threatening to draw a Pennywise for a long time. I should do, shouldn't I?
You never drawn him, Si?
Never. It's always one I've always wanted to draw.
Just fiddling around with him behind. Okay.
Forget that.
He's epic, isn't he?
Oh, well,
I like it, yeah.
Lich or licks. How do you say that? Lich don't sleep. Same with zombies. Only undead to sleep are vampires. There's the right. Got it. G4 says, I agree, DTM. This has been fantastic. Try working next to a hospital mortuary next door to the largest graveyard in Glasgow. Is that where you are, George? Blimmin' heck. Look at Mr. B liking that thing. Look at that. Yeah, I know.
Well, I used to work in years and years ago. I used to work in a hospital laundry.
Yeah.
And it was at the back of a mental asylum hospital
Right.
in Birmingham. A big, well-known hospital. But the hospital closed down, and the only buildings that were left, because it was being levelled into a sort of one of these super estates with the Hollywood Bowl on it and a cinema and everything else. The only buildings that were left was the mortuary, the church, because it was consecrated ground and they couldn't knock it down, and the hospital laundry, which was right at the back of the site. And because obviously all the other buildings have been knocked down, you used to have to walk from one side of the site to the other to get the bus. And that your bum was making buttons on that one.
I get TJC to pick me up somewhere else. I like TJC. I'm not walking over there. Oh, look at that. Can't bring up talking animals and Shabby. I will definitely be off. Definitely. Same G-Force. I don't hate clowns because they scare me. I hate them because they're bastards.
You see, I'm still on the other side of the fence. I still like clowns and find clowns funny and stuff. I don't like my Claire. She's another one. She won't watch anything with a clown in it. Nothing like that. She's like, no chance.
Apparently, they've got one of the highest suicide rates of any profession, clowns, which is, I think, that makes them creepier because they're always so jolly on the outside, but they're not so jolly on the inside.
I never knew that.
Mm.
Do you still find clowns now, though? Do you still find them? Because there's not that many.
Well, yeah, there's still the
circus
circus, isn't there? And there's still things like that.
There's a very good one at the Blackpool Tower.
Yeah. Loads of clowns here. You should know, Mark. You're one of them.
Very good, Si, very good. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always find it weird how the whole clown thing's turned around. Whereas from being the balloon guy, juggler, making kids laugh, now everyone's like frightened to death of him, aren't they? It's become like a horror icon, if you'll have me, the clown. I find it really strange.
Yeah. Gene Force said, yeah, it's the same with comedians. I suppose he's right, really. And you always get sad about that, don't you? You know what I mean? You're like, oh, wow. You know, I think it's because they're so good at hiding the real emotions, aren't they? You know, you just see them as that.
Definitely.
Wynn said, if anyone is squeamish, then don't watch the Terrifier movies. What's that, Kat? The Terrifier movies.
See, now, this is what we were saying earlier about the violence for the sake of violence. Me and Keith actually sat down to watch the Terrifier because I'd never seen them. And we sat down just before Christmas to watch one. And I think we got about half an hour into it. And I just couldn't watch it. For me, I just felt like there was no story. It was just this guy going around murdering people. And he was just a bit of an horrible git. And it's not my kind of horror. I prefer like the not so much what you do see, but what you don't see or what you hear. But it's just not. They're the sort of, like I say, that if you've ever watched or heard of Hostel or anything like that, they're that vein of horror, which is just
no chance,
blood and guts and gore and people having sex in weird places because it's part of the story.
Yeah, that is definitely not for me. Amy is the last purpose-built circus. Yeah, I'll put you to that. And they still have clowns. Right, okay. So, did you know that each clown has their own unique makeup pattern that they have to register? They actually have to register it. Right?
Yeah, they do.
My uncle
what do you mean that? So, like, if I've got an outfit and I've called myself like Bubbles, I have to register that clown.
Yeah, you'd have to register your makeup, and you're not allowed to have sharp angles if you work with children on clowns' makeup, which is how they caught John Wayne Gacy.
What do you mean? Sharp angles?
If you actually look at his drawings are always lines, but if you actually look at his makeup, he had triangle, which is apparently a no-no if you're a clown.
Maybe, because when you looked at the new Joker film, he was painted like that with them little triangles above him, and he was the source of evil. So
yeah, you're not supposed to apparently have sharp lines if you're a clown.
Never knew that.
All right, we've got a couple more minutes before we get to Si's magic trick, Cat. So, is there anything else you'd like to show us?
I think because we've sort of said about the horrors and everything else. This is a Stephen King book that I never understood why they never made into a film. And it's not a well-known one. Rose Madder. And it's a story that resonated with me. It's a lady that wakes up one day, realizes that she's been married for 14 years to a bloke who is extremely abusive, likes to use her as a punch bag, and she decides that she's going to get away, and it's about how she gets away and what she goes through sort of in her dreams at night when she goes to sleep and she hears a door and things like that. And is it him coming to get her? And I think for anybody who's ever gone through domestic violence or knows anybody who's ever gone through domestic violence, that book is probably one of the most scary books that you'll ever read, because it happens to men and women out there every day.
Wow.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Wow. So it's one that is close. Yeah, I understand. To people that can read it, some people might think, "Wow, this is
resonates more." Yeah.
Wow.
And I think because it's so well done and it's not graphic or anything like that, but because it resonates so much, I think that's one of the reasons why it's probably never been turned into a film, because it would just be too many people's story.
Too close. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I understand exactly what you say right there. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
But again, it's amazing all these books that he must have wrote that we've never heard of. It'll be very interesting when the man's on his deathbed for him to reveal what he actually did right. And I bet that every Stephen King fan will be gobsmacked when they found out what he actually did right. You know, that we know was like real famous and real good story, but we never knew it was Stephen King.
Yeah,
I bet there's a few of them coming. I really
Yeah,
do.
I think, and if you read the front of a lot of his books as well, it'll be like, I started working on this 20 years ago, but I put it down because I didn't know where it was going to go, and then I've picked it up and I've finished it. And his son writes horror as well. His son writes under the name of Joe Hill. His real name's Joseph King. What a cruel thing to call your kid Joe King.
Yeah.
Joking, yeah.
But he writes, and he's wrote Nosferatu about a vampiric car, and the Black Phone. If you've seen the film Black Phone, that was written by him as well. So he's obviously following in his father's footsteps. And Owen co-wrote a couple of books with him as well, his other son Owen. So I think when Stephen does go, if those manuscripts do exist, I think his sons will finish them, and we'll end up with an anthology of work.
I never knew that his sons were also right. I never knew that.
And his wife Tabitha does, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
And what stuff
Winston,
does she write? Is she still the horror, or is she?
No,
totally...
she's sort of everyday tales of folk. I think. To be honest, I've never read any of her books. The only reason I started reading Joe Hill was somebody gave me a copy of a book of his in a heart-shaped box, and it's a really good book. And I read it. And I thought, this author's really good. And it was then that I researched the author to see what else he'd written, and it came up that he was Stephen King's son, and it was like,
wow,
didn't fall far from the tree.
Wynn says, out of all the stuff you've shown us for so far tonight, Kat, I still love that Christine car, but he's really enjoyed this stream, so many thanks. That's really nice of you.
Oh, for me, I think it's got to be that Jack Torrance figure you just showed. I think that
was cool.
Else. The face sculpt on that is amazing.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Really cool. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, that is
awesome.
Is
cool. Yeah, it is.
He actually came with some really cool accessories, actually. He came with, if I can find his box, I'll put it safe. He's actually got a teeny tiny typewriter.
While you're looking, Smith Lord says, I'm writing a new series of children books about zany characters. I'm calling it the Mr., Mrs., Miss, They, Them Unicorn Sync books. The first one is.
By the time you've done the title, the book will be finished.
I never knew that either, DTM. You're right. I enjoyed the Black Phone, but never had any idea who wrote it. Wow. Oh, look at that.
Jack.
Yeah.
Hold it. And a teeny tiny typewriter.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's cool, that.
And his picture.
That's awesome.
It's even got different hands, so you can have him doing different things.
Look at the box it comes into. That's cool.
Yeah, the boxes are lovely. I think that there's nothing better is there than having one of these nice packets to open, and it's like, the box.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's absolutely brilliant. So there you have it. There is. What can you say, Si? Cat's Tubs.
Brilliant. Very brilliant.
Brilliant. Let me just get with the chat before we get to the reason why you've come on, Catty. Si, magic. Let's be honest.
Best bit of the night, this.
It might not be.
Mr. B asks, is that a NECA figure, the Jack Torrance one?
No, it's Redmond Toys. Same as the Grady twins.
I'm going to have to have a look into these Redmond toys. I've never heard of them, and I've seen some nice stuff tonight you've pulled out from them. I'm going to have a look into them.
They are lovely, yeah. They're really, and they're heavy as well. They're not crappy. They're good figures.
Jeepo says, Cat has just been a wealth of knowledge. I've had a fantastic night tonight. Our John
I agree
says,
with Shabby Geek though that you know about Stephen King, you know these films and books, but it's nice to have somebody who really knows.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, the things you've said tonight, I've been like mind blown with all the stuff you've come out with him.
And I think that's why I enjoy it, because it's like I've always said, you collect your own thing and you get a bigger. But I always get a massive kick out of what other people have, what other people collect. And when Si came up with the Tub Thumpers, I loved it because I've never been one to say, I know everything. Never. I like to learn, and so you've been absolutely fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely,
really.
I knew you would be. It's been absolutely brilliant. Mr. B also asks, is it articulated, that figure?
He is indeed. He is articulated. Yeah, he's he can sort of move. Dropped his axe on my foot. Yeah, he can totally move.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's quality, isn't it?
It
He's
really
fab.
is. So what is he 12 inches, Cat?
Yes, yeah.
So it's more like a hot toy kind of style, bigger red.
Yeah,
these
I thought it was
size.
Hot Toys first.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Because he's because when Keith bought him, he didn't have boots. So Keith actually had to go out and source some boots for me. And he managed to get some
He's
in
the
there.
right person to be married to for that sort of stuff, though, isn't he? Let's be honest. He'll definitely sort that out.
Yeah.
Si's wearing a black jumper. Fingers crossed for this section of history. Yeah, he's fully articulated. Said, Keith, great stuff, Cat. I've really enjoyed this stream.
Oh, thank you.
Cat definitely knows horror. Yeah, talking about horror.
Not showing me wedding video, are you?
Talking about horror. Si's magic of the mind. So prepare yourself, Cat, because for 36 weeks now, the magic has just gone from strength to actual strength. So we're going to make our side big right there. What is the magic?
He says that, Mark, but the only magic seen on this show was done by Zoe T, not even done by me for a start. But this week's magic is called the Guillotine of Grimsby.
The Guillotine of Grimsby. Tell us a backstory, Si. Tell us a backstory.
I learnt this in 1978 in a small pub in Grimsby.
Right.
Oh, let me get this straight. So I've got my guillotine there, and it's a secret trick where you keep your finger. So I also get my spaghetti strand, and I put my spaghetti strand through that hole like that.
Oh, okay.
And then I get my finger, and I put. Oh, hang on, I have to angle it.
Si, you're going to be all right, because if this goes wrong, we have a nurse on tonight, Si. We have a nurse, so everything's covered.
So then I get my finger, and I put my finger.
Hang on, we can't, Si, lower it down a bit.
I know I'm doing it on two hands. So I'll put my finger through the hole, as you can see. Yeah. I'll have to lift it because I can't do it. So there it is, and my finger is through the hole as well as my spaghetti. This is terrible. And now I'm going to close the guillotine on my finger and on the spaghetti. Remember, I learnt this trick in Grimsby.
Right.
So I get my guillotine. I can't do it. Get it after three. You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
That's linguine. It's not even spaghetti.
Think you can relax, Cat. Look at my finger. Look, no need for a nurse. Look at that.
You learn that in.
Yeah.
You learn that in Grimsby, side. In Grimsby. Well, Cat, was that or was that not magic of the mind?
Yes. I'm still wondering what the link to Grimsby is. Isn't that
Yeah,
that's it. It's the guillotine of Grimsby.
Do you not know, Cat? Grimsby's known for its guillotines, and everyone thought it was the French.
See, that's the only thing I could reminded me of, like, G. I thought Ghana at first, but then I thought Grimsby sounds better.
Kieran was a bit concerned. He didn't know what you were going to put in there, Si. So luckily, Smith Lord says, "Don't use your wonky just in case it goes wrong." Kieran says, "I can't look." Hooray! Wants me some spaghetti. Mr. B liked it. Aha! Look at that. For one, I am shocked. So GeForce can't believe the magic of the mind this year. That was incredible. How does he do it? Nobody knows. This is what I mean. Nobody knows how he does it. It's just great. I'm going to be up all night now making spaghetti pieces. It's like, what happened? Shabby's reaction says, I'm astonished. You know what I mean? I'm astonished. This is unbelievable. I mean, I saw it.
Thank you, Keith.
That trick's left you penniless.
Very good.
Very good. Very good. Talking about in Grimsby, was he pissed? And I thought the best thing to come out of Grimsby was a nice battered cod. There you are, you see.
Well,
Mr. B's in Orsay. He's like, this is worth the tuning into this. Jumpy's comment wins it. So his next trick is cheers. Yeah. So that's it.
Next trick. Next time we're back. Next trick.
Well, that's it. So there is the end of season 2 of Tub Thumpers, Si. So what do you think, Si?
I think very great way to end it. Full of knowledge.
Brilliant.
Been a great show, seeing some mint stuff. Cat's proper articulated. You're going to have a test with Cat on these Stephen King books. At the end of the day, she'll take you to the cleaners if you don't know your stuff. And I like that sort of thing, that, you know what I mean?
I like this sort of thing because it's not just showing the stuff. We have a lot of people on Tubs, don't we, Si, that actually know about what they're showing, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that's the part I love. It's not just, oh, I had this. You know, they tell you a story behind it. Cat, you were perfect at this tonight. I can see why Shabby puts the tricks on at the end of this.
What are you on about? To keep people here for 2 hours, Jono.
I love this online stream, Cat. You've made my week, my day, my night. I think you liked it. I think I'd say night to Pennywise for you behind me. Cheers to Shabby for this stream. No, thank you, mate. It's always nice for you coming in. It was okay, but if size was really magic, he'd make that spaghetti hole again.
But would that make it a spaghetti hoop if it was a hole?
Nice. See what you did there. See what you did. Yeah.
I was looking around then because I do have more spaghetti strands, and I was going to.
Pennywise is fine. Brilliant. Great way to end this year. She was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. These are the Tub Thumpers I love when I can just sit here. Do you know what I mean? And listen to people.
Yeah,
and you were awesome.
That's it. You always know, don't you, that when it goes quiet on the Tub Thumpers, that the person that's showing the stuff off, you're in awe of a bit, aren't you? I agree with that.
They're all buggered off to watch the football.
Look at this. Can I come out from behind the sofa now? Absolutely brilliant. And here's the last one for the night. Sire, so sex. Disappear. So there you have it. So thank you, Cat. It's been Cat, you're gonna have to come on again, or you're gonna have to come on more streams, man. It's awesome to see you.
Yeah.
Such a great personality, Cat. It's brilliant to have you on.
Thank you.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So we're done. So what we got coming up, Si? We've got ZSR on Friday on Matt's channel. And then I'm doing a skeleton with VTR and Scuba on Monday. That'll be good because them two have just got that Robo School thing. So we'll be opening that. And then next Wednesday, it's not Tub Thumpers site, is Return of the Jedi, isn't it? So what are we doing that?
It's just me and a few others talking about what we love about Return of the Jedi. Why Return of the Jedi is, to me, the best Star Wars film ever made. So it was just a good chat about that.
Awesome. Kat, you got anything coming up? You on anybody else's streams you want to say, or?
I don't do any. This is the first stream that I've actually done, apart from the Halloween one that I did with you guys and Keith, obviously at Halloween.
You make us feel honoured, Kat. You make us feel honoured.
He's actually the extrovert. I'm quite introverted. I am actually quite shy. So it's only because of all credit to you guys. You are so inclusive, and the guys that you have in your chat are always so welcoming and lovely,
aren't they?
For me, it didn't fit. Keith said to me earlier, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "No, because it's like going to have a chat with friends. That's how you made me feel. So thank you for that." Yeah.
No, thank you for coming on.
It'll be good to see you when you come to the Toy Fair as well with Keith in April. That'd be really good. See you again.
Are you enjoying meeting everybody, Kat? I mean, I know you've come on the streams and obviously some of these names you'll recognise with Keith watching them and so forth. But how do you enjoy going to how did you enjoy the last one?
Yeah, it was good. I'm sort of probably better in person than I am on technology, whereas Keith's the other way around.
Right.
But so for me to go along and support him and sort of give him his bit of support to get out and about, because he does struggle, bless him. Is like it's great, and it's lovely, and it's amazing. I loved Echo. I loved seeing all the people in the costume, and for me it was the little kids coming down and they're like, I'm gonna fight, and brilliant. Loved it. Yeah.
You say little kids, but most of these lads probably have faces like little kids when they're there, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like,
well,
we all turn into it, don't we? Well, that's brilliant.
I always say, vintage toy collectors because you're vintage kids.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And I think that's why we we've all got to know each other and all having a laugh and a joke and support each other because we're all like-minded. We're all banging to pop culture and we're interested in learning. And it's, I don't know, I just love it. I just love it to pieces. None of us are professional. None of us are, but we just having a good time, don't we? Our sign, just having a good chat. And, Return of the Jedi was my absolute favourite Star Wars. Oh, you have to tune in and watch it. All right, then we're done. So thank you again, Kat. Thank you for everybody else that's been on Tub Thumpers. Thank you for all you chat, man. Without the chat, Tub Thumpers wouldn't be anything. So we really appreciate you coming in every week. And we'll be back in about Tub Thumpers about a month and a half or so. So we'll be back then, won't we?
Yeah. And again, thanks a lot, Kat. You've made it a great Tub Thumpers tonight. Really interesting. Thanks a lot for coming on, pal.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure.
Awesome. Right. Wave, everybody. We'll see you soon.